Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish.Academy. This is episode 430. It's productivity week at the FA. Enrollment is open for the goal setting and time management course for a very limited time. Please check it out. It's just this week. I will post the link below. But I asked you guys what are some of the things that you struggle with, and I'm answering your questions today. This question comes from a friend of mine. She says, can you teach us how to not be afraid of technology? I tend to stay in a safe zone, and when something new comes along, I nervously shy away. I get overwhelmed easily, so even something like my own website or a blog totally freaks me out. Okay, so are you one of these people? Does tech scare you? Does all the tech that comes along with being a photographer, does it surprise you? Did you know how much you were gonna have to learn? I know I didn't. I thought, I love photography. Okay, obviously I have to learn how to use my camera, and I probably need to understand how to do post-processing. At the time, it was Photoshop and Capture One. Now it's Lightroom. But I don't think I understood how much tech was involved in being a photographer. Things like SEO and your website and your camera. And then you start talking about things like, did you update your firmware? And people are like, what? And what are you doing with Lightroom? Have you updated it? They don't understand. Okay, so I do have some thoughts on this. How can you not be afraid of technology? Number one, understand something. Technology will never harm you. You will not get mauled by a bear because you screw something up on your website. You will not get injured. You may just be a little bit embarrassed if you screw something up. That's the story of my life. I screwed things up all the time on my websites because I didn't know what I was doing, but then I figured it out and I fixed it. Really, you have two choices when it comes to this tech. You either spend the time to dig in and learn it, or you pay someone to do it for you. And by the way, I don't have a problem how you approach it. If you want to completely offload your website and pay someone to create it, maintain it, do all of your SEO, I say go for it. It would free up your mind quite a bit. But if you need to be resourceful because you don't wish to spend the money to do that, then you're going to have to figure out a way to learn these things. And there are tons of courses and things that you can take, but I don't want you to be afraid of it because it's not going to hurt you. In fact, this is it. We need to reframe our thinking, because one of my goals has always been, every year I set a goal in terms of what I want to learn that's new. Every year I do this. Sometimes every quarter I'll start thinking about, oh, I want to learn how to, like years ago it was bake a certain type of cookie, or I want to learn how to use a certain type of lighting in photography. These span both my professional and personal lives. I love to learn new things. So instead of being afraid of technology, why don't you reframe it and embrace it and think, I can't wait to learn something new. Because when you learn something new, you gain confidence. You feel like, okay, I didn't think I was going to be able to tackle that, and now I know that I can. You start to get this like little edge up. You feel a little more confident, like, oh, if I could figure that out, then I could figure something else out. It took me forever to figure out a website before templates existed. I had to code HTML. That's what I did. I had 1 or 2 pages to my site. It was very rudimentary. It looked terrible, and I was so proud of it. Isn't that hilarious? I thought it was the best thing. I mean, I knew it wasn't great, but I was just so proud that I did it. You just have to, okay, this ties in with all the productivity, is instead of being afraid of tech and instead of saying, all this tech frightens me, is there something in particular that you need to learn or that is pushing on you the most? For a lot of my clients, it's their website. So maybe you start to set some goals for your website. You know, by this date, I will have accomplished learning X about my website, or installing WordPress, or understanding hosting, or my name, Jackie says she wants to learn it all like now. Actually, Jackie, I'm gonna tackle your question in the next video, so you'll want to stick around because I like that. Jackie is hungry. She just wants to learn it all, but you're just gonna have to set some goals. So if it's tech, then do something small, something that you can accomplish that you feel good about. You can learn it. It's possible. People do it, and people who consider themselves non-techie. So that's another thing. Are you saying to yourself, like many people have said to me, I'm just not technical, Heather. I'm just not a tech kind of person. To which I respond, really? When did you decide to put that label on yourself? Because it's like people saying to me, you know how I love to read and I read all these books, and people say to me, Heather, I'm just not a reader. And I'm like, does that mean you can't read? Or what does that mean? You're not a reader. You just decided, nope, reading is not fundamental. I don't wish to do it. I mean, you can learn anything. Think back to when you started with photography. The first time you picked up a DSLR camera, did you understand how it worked? All of it? Of course you didn't, but you learned it. Every one of you here learned how to use a camera, at least to some degree, even if you're really new. You learned how to use that camera. Well, a girl who can do that can do anything. If you could learn that, then why couldn't you learn tech or something about the website? You could take a class at a local community college if you're hands-on. You could take a class online that you pay for. You could watch free YouTube videos. You can tackle this any way you want. I would just recommend starting with one piece of tech that scares you and setting a goal. Set a goal that by this date I will learn X, and then work your way backwards to figure out how to learn it. But don't let it cause you fear. It's not going to kill you. When I teach the DSLR workshop at our local community college, I always say in the morning, your camera will not harm you. Please do not be afraid to press the buttons. Press all the buttons because we can reset it. It's not a big deal. Your camera won't bite you and neither will your website. So I hope you found that useful. I'll see you in the next video.